Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Mike Elko, the Texas A&M Aggies, land a very intriguing commitment coming out of the transfer portal and former Iowa wide receiver Jacob Bostick. Now, on the surface level, there are going to be a lot of college football fans across the country that, kind of just gloss over this commitment because you dive into Jacob Bostick. He redshirted in 2022, only appeared in 5 games in 2023. You dive a little bit deeper specifically into the athletic profile, it starts to make sense why all of these programs wanted Jacob Bostick, including Texas A&M. Take a look at the offseason testing for the Iowa Hawkeyes, a 40-inch vertical, an 11-foot broad jump. Jacob Bostick would be one of the better testers at the NFL Combine in the wide receiver department this past year. We say this all the time. You want to bet on these kind of guys. Football is a height, weight, speed game, right? You want to get to premier athletes. And although Jacob Bostick hasn't necessarily put it on the field in terms of a production standpoint, Jacob Bostick's ceiling in terms of that athletic profile is extraordinarily high. I don't know if it's going to be in 2024 or 2025. I think Jacob Bostick can be a real contributor for this Texas A&M wide receiver and want to dive into him a little bit more and then kind of talk about how he fits in to this Texas A&M wide receiver room heading into 2024. Before we do it, as always, just want to say thank you to you guys, to the Texas A&M fans. Y'all know it's really just been a blast talking this program as Mike Elko has taken over. A lot of commitments we're breaking down in the portal. I can't thank you guys enough for rocking with the fellas. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. And without further ado, let's get into this one. And I want to go back and highlight the 40-inch vertical, the 11-foot broad jump. Again, some of the better numbers you would see at the NFL Combine a couple of weeks ago. And so although Jacob Bostick hasn't necessarily been an impact guy for the Iowa Hawkeyes, and I think a caveat to that conversation is I don't know if it's possible for a wide receiver to be an impact guy in that Iowa offense because the quarterback play has just been so bad. Jacob Bostick coming over to College Station, one, a change of scenery, two, can you kind of harness this athletic profile and get it a little bit to translate on the football field? And again, whether that's in 2024 or 2025, he's got 3 years of eligibility left. This is a souped up, hyper athletic wide receiver that you have the opportunity to bring into College Station and, just get him coached up. And again, whether that's in the next 6 months, whether it's in the next 18 months, I think Texas A&M fans should be really excited about what the potential is with Jacob Bostick for this Texas A&M program. We said this all the time. Mike Elko wanted to use the portal to get better heading into 2024, but he was also using the portal to get this program ready for 2025 and 2026 as well, getting guys that are young, that have plenty of eligibility left. Jacob Bostick, 3 more years to be within this Texas A&M program. I think they probably view him as a little bit of a project, but a project that could pay out in an all-conference performer over the next couple of years. Now, you look at this Texas A&M wide receiver room for the Texas A&M fans who've been listening for the last couple of weeks and months. I'm a massive fan of this wide receiver room, and I'm a massive fan of it for a couple of different reasons. One, I think there are a lot of different weapons that Texas A&M can use to attack defenses in a different way. And although I don't know if there's that clear wide receiver one, but from what we saw in the spring game, Noah Thomas could be that guy. I love how this wide receiver room is constructed, right? You take a look at some of the big bodies that can work vertically down the field. Noah Thomas, Cyrus Allen, you could throw in Micah Tease. You talk about a guy that's just a smooth operator, can create separation, Jahdae Walker. And then you talk about Jabari Barber, Moose Muhammad as your slot weapons that can really just create separation in those short intermediate route trees, be a quarterback's best friend. You look at the Texas A&M wide receiver room, it's constructed exactly how you want it, with guys that can do different things and operate in different situations. You look across the country, yes, there are programs that have really good wide receivers. Sometimes all those wide receivers do all the same things. I look at Clemson a couple of years ago where they just had multiple 6'3", 210-pound wide receivers that could only work vertically down the field, couldn't really create separation, couldn't operate in those short intermediate route trees, and that Clemson passing attack really struggled because they didn't have a lot of diverse wide receivers. You look at this Texas A&M wide receiver room, a lot of diversity. Obviously, they're going to be leaning on the running backs and tight ends to be involved in this passing attack too, with Coach Klein coming in. A lot of different weapons for this Texas A&M offense to use. And it's all kind of being used by a guy like Connor Wigman, who I've said time and time again, I think can be one of the better quarterbacks in the SEC. Jacob Bostick, I understand why college football fans might overlook this commitment. When you dive deeper in, the athletic profile is extremely exciting. He's a guy that you just want to bet on and see if he can put it together. I'm extremely excited about it. Appreciate you guys rocking with the fellas. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Appreciate you guys. We'll talk to y'all later.